Having a Danish girlfriend means I've been to Denmark a lot. And because I've been to Denmark, I've gotten to eat a lot of Danish food. And I've talked about it in videos, and I've talked about it with people I've met in Denmark. And one dish in particular always gets brought up. They said, have you tried Stegt Flæsk? Or Stegt Flæsk, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Have you tried Stegt Flæsk? Stegt Flæsk is great. Stegt Flæsk is our national dish. Denmark's national dish. I mean, how did it become a national dish? Was it knighted by the Queen as the national dish? Was it a special act of Parliament? Was it put up to a plebiscite for all Danes to vote? No, the crowning of Stegt Flæsk was the result of a publicity stunt run by then Danish Agricultural Minister Dan Jorgensen, who wanted publicity for Danish food and, more importantly, for himself. Considered by many in the media, at least some in the media, as ravenously seeking attention, Dan Jorgensen launched an initiative to find the country's official national dish. Now, I am not a constitutional scholar, and even less so of the Danish legal system, but it seems to me that the Minister of Agriculture does not have the power or the right to call an election to decide what the national dish is. But that did not stop the intrepid Dan Jorgensen from revving up the media machine of the Minister of Agriculture, putting things on Facebook, Twitter, and what have you, and putting things out on their website. He declared that this search for a national dish was a way of getting back in touch with traditional Danish food. He stated, Danish and new Nordic cuisine have become known the world over. But here at home, in our kitchens, we have often forgotten our culinary roots. The national dish has helped us to rediscover and develop our food traditions. Might he have used the money, time, and energy to explore and figure out issues of food safety, health, and productivity instead? Apparently not. Somehow I get a feeling that this had some effect because he turned out to be the last Minister of Agriculture before they rebranded the department as the Ministry for Environment and Food. Coincidence? You tell me. For this beauty pageant of Danish cuisine, Dan Jorgensen invited Danes to send in their suggestions, after which they would be some TV cooking type contest, things in which a number of chefs would prepare different dishes and then these dishes would be voted on regionally or something like that. An election process like this is not likely to ensure that a large voter turnout will occur. In fact, it didn't. Only 63,000 votes were cast for the national dish. That's just a little over 1% of the entire population of Denmark. And for Danes, who traditionally vote in their parliamentary elections at well over 80%, that makes me think that this type of election lacks legitimacy. In fact, Stegt Flæsk didn't even receive a majority of these votes. They got 44%, 27,000 votes. It's not even a majority, it's a minority. And that is what you allowed to pick your national dish? Well, that didn't stop Jan Jorgensen from proudly declaring that Stegt Flæsk was the national dish. When I asked my girlfriend, who is from Denmark, about Stegt Flæsk, she says it's fatty, heavy, and unhealthy. And when I looked at the recipe for it, she's right. It's basically pork belly, which is like bacon. That doesn't sound like a main course. In fact, it sounds more like a side dish, the type of side dish that you would get with an omelet. Like, I have bacon with an omelet. That was one of the reasons my girlfriend was hesitant to recommend that I eat Stegt Flæsk. And she said, besides, there's so many other more delicious and healthier Danish dishes, like roast pork, meatballs, fish balls, which are just fish meatballs, the Faling Star, Wiener Schnitzel, and a myriad of open-faced sandwiches, which incidentally was the runner-up to Stegt Flæsk in this national dish competition. And regardless of what you think about the legitimacy of this national dish competition, Stegt Flæsk is still beloved by a good number of people. And even though it's a vocal minority still is not without its merits. So I thought if enough people really do like this dish, maybe I should give it a try. So this past summer, when I went back to Denmark, I made it a point to track down this mythical Stegt Flæsk and try it for myself. So we are waiting to enjoy what everyone who I have met told me that I have to eat when I come to Denmark, because it is the official national dish, even though there are some people who probably would succeed if that had to be eaten on a daily basis. Shh, my girlfriend thinks it might not agree with my stomach. But because I'm here and because I want to embrace all things Danish, I am going to be having, right now, the Stegt Flæsk. And in a future video, you will see how I navigated the Danish culinary world to get a chance to finally taste Stegt Flæsk, the Danish national dish. Thank you kindly.